You're listening to WTIM, your information station. It's time now for your expanded local news. Gas prices across the country are expected to drop for Labor Day weekend compared to recent years. Online gas price tracker Gas Buddy projects prices average $3.15 per gallon. That's down 14 cents from the same time last year. This would be the lowest price since 2020, though the COVID 19 pandemic was in progress at that point and drastically reducing travel. Despite the annual drop, gas prices in around half of all U.S. states have risen in the last month. Experts say this is because of outages at refineries. However, they expect the prices to fall again as September progresses when cheaper winter gas is brought in and travel dies down. Patrick DeHaan, head of petroleum analysis at Gas Buddy, expects the national average to drop below $3 a gallon this fall. He does warn of factors that could send prices on an upward trend again, however. These potential causes include hurricanes, tariffs, and the Russia Ukraine war. Gas Buddy is the authoritative voice for gas prices and the only source for station level data. Gas Buddy surveys update 288 times every day from the most diverse list of sources covering nearly 150,000 stations nationwide, the most comprehensive and up to date in the country. Gas Buddy's averages, graphs, maps, and historical pricing data covering the U.S. and Canada is available 24/7 at prices.gasbuddy.com. The nationwide redistricting battle is heating up as majority party lawmakers in several states look to pass new congressional district maps ahead of next year's midterms. Illinois is one of those states, where Democrats control all but 3 of the state's U.S. House seats. This came about in the same election where their party's presidential candidate, Kamala Harris, won Illinois, but with only 54% of the vote. Speaking of Illinois, Governor J.B. Pritzker has been involved in the absence of Texas Democrats from its state legislature ahead of a vote on what they consider to be gerrymandered maps. These elected officials have since returned to the Lone Star State. Efforts in these states to pass new maps are drawing sharp criticism from officials whose parties stand to detriment from changes to the maps. Among them is Illinois State Senator Steve McClure. He calls out Governor Pritzker for backtracking on a promise from his first campaign to veto gerrymandered maps and push for independent redistricting commissions.
Essentially, what happened was that the governor and the Senate Democrats and the Senate and the House Democrats decided to, behind closed doors, draw maybe the most gerrymandered district map in the entire country. And so, it's just the most bizarre experience to watch Governor Pritzker call the people in Texas that are legislators and have them come to Illinois because Texas wants to draw a very gerrymandered map. And, I'm not sure you could pick a worse example of a map than our state. And what's interesting is that when Governor Pritzker ran for office, he promised that he was not going to sign a gerrymandered map. He was going to only sign a map that was drawn by some sort of independent commission, but here we are, and it's pretty ridiculous.
Senator McClure also accuses the governor of breaking constitutional precedent and signing 2 separate maps already this decade after a delay in census reporting in 2020.
He actually signed 2 maps into law because Illinois crafted a map before the census was released because the census was delayed because of COVID. And so the Democrats used very inaccurate population data to craft one map, and the governor signed it into law. And then once we got the census data, signed a second map into law. And so that actually against the state constitution, which says 10 years in Illinois. And so we the Senate Republicans and other entities were part of lawsuits to say, you can't do that because the state constitution says once every 10 years, not twice every 10 years. And our partisan Supreme Court in the state, unfortunately, sided with Governor Pritzker. And so the whole system's really failed the state of Illinois. And, everything that Governor Pritzker is criticizing Texas for, he is not just guilty of, he took it to a whole nother level.
Aside from redistricting, Governor Pritzker has signed 2 of Senator McClure's bills into law. One of them reduces the frequency at which permanently disabled drivers must prove their disability at the Secretary of State's office. A constituent of his, with multiple sclerosis, came to him with said proposal.
What she was telling me was that she had to go into the Secretary of State's office frequently to get her disabled parking pass, her placard, her license plate renewed. And when she has to go do that, she has to prove that she still has a disability, even though her disability is permanent. And we've got various reports from people. Some people say that they have to come in every year to prove that. Another person said they come in every 3 years to prove that. So I thought, you shouldn't be having to come in that frequently if your disability is permanent, to just prove that you're permanently disabled still. And so my bill, which has now been signed into law, says that if you are permanently disabled, you only have to come in to verify that once every 5 years.
The senator also helped craft a resolution last year, which is coming back to light now. That's because it was meant to honor Jim Lovell, who commanded the Apollo 8 and Apollo 13 missions. The former astronaut moved to Lake Forest after his missions. He died on August 7th and will have a day in his honor.
Last year, I had the honor of crafting a resolution in the Senate to honor Jim Lovell with Jim Lovell Day, and I worked with Senator Morrison on that legislation, and I got to travel to Lake Forest to go inform Jim Lovell of the honor and to present him a copy of the resolution so he could read it and so his family could frame it wherever they wanted to do. So it was really, really cool to get the chance to visit with him, and he was really humbled and really excited by the honor. And it passed the Senate, and late last year there was Jim Lovell Day, and at the nursing home where he lived, they had signs all over the place saying Happy Jim Lovell Day, and they had Chicago television in the nursing home that day to interview him.
More information on Senator Steve McClure is available at senatormcclure.com. Senator Steve McClure appeared as a guest on the WTIM Morning Show. This will conclude the first portion of your expanded local news, and it's brought to you by Taylorville Community Credit Union. The Christian County Sheriff's Office continues work on the jail while down deputies and filling open slots within the department. Jail renovations are making progress with several needed upgrades to be completed soon. A new deputy has also joined the force as well, following in the footsteps of his father and sister. On top of all that, last month in July saw crime numbers and service calls drop, even with the many community events and fairs. Jim Baker, Chief Deputy of the Christian County Sheriff's Office, talks last month and the reported numbers. Typically during summer months, however, call volume increases with more local activity and longer days.
Yeah, so in July, when I pulled some reports, it looks like we generated about 20 incident reports compared to 32 last the month of June. So that was down a little bit. We had one criminal arrest, one major traffic arrest, 2 warrants, 2 DUIs. We had 90 paper service attempts with 69 successful civil papers served, and they done about the vacation and extra patrol shifts was 22, and then responded to 17 vehicle crashes, 2 narcotic arrests, and we put out that we closed the road, 3 notifications on the app of road closures.
So I had always heard that summer was going to be, hey, people are out and about, and it
Yeah.
seems like numbers are pretty good, really.
Yeah. Compared to the normal monthly activities, it seems like it settled in, and I guess I have no rhyme or reason why some months are really busy.
Baker gives a brief update on the progress made at the Christian County Jail. He notes it's been a busy process with the many contractors that have been flooding the building.
So currently we've got a little, I wouldn't say disruption, but it's kind of hectic over at the jail right now. We've got contractors in. If you could imagine, in the entire jail, it's got a security ceiling that's got metal panels in it, and they have to take all that out, run new piping for fire suppression, and then redo the ceiling. So right now, quite congested to where we're working around that. In the jail, it is in full swing. Contractors, we've got pipe fitters, the contractors, the electricians in there, and seems to be going okay. But if they do stop into the jail at any point in time to drop off medications or anything like that in the front entrance, it's under construction, but we're looking forward to that, and seems to be going okay. Just a lot going on over there inside the jail that the public doesn't see from the road other than the dumpster, but we are making progress.
Deputy Caleb Woods was hired in May and has recently completed necessary training. Woods' father, Scott, and sister, Casey, have also been involved in the Christian County Sheriff's Office over the years, leaving Caleb to continue that legacy.
I'd like to give a shout out and congratulate folks that we hire, get them in and provide jobs in the community, and have these people that live, work, and raise families in the community. And this is kind of a unique one. We tomorrow on the 22nd, Deputy Caleb Woods will be graduating from the Macon County Law Enforcement Academy in recruit class 2526. He was hired back in May and went to a 16-week training, and he's set to graduate tomorrow, and he'll come out, have a few days off, and then start his field training to get him in patrol as a deputy. The unique situation with Caleb is he's walking in the footsteps of his father, not only his father, but additionally his sister. So his father, Deputy Scott Woods, I worked with him for 20 years through my career, and actually was predecessor for a year and a half as chief deputy.
Baker is turning to the community to find some additional patience when using local roadways as harvest season ramps up. He's also asking the community to be mindful of school reopening as buses and children take to the streets during the school week.
Everybody's always in a hurry. We're in a hurry to go to lunch. We're in a hurry to drop the kids off. Keep in mind, especially in them school zones, we're back to school. Everybody that's got kids knows that, but those that don't, keep in mind it's back to school time, heavier traffic, kids, running out across the street. Remember, you'd think it would be common knowledge, but you got to remember, when those buses come to stop, you got to expect that arm swinging out to stop, and you don't want to get your license suspended for driving around a school bus. Those are some pretty hefty fines, obviously for public safety, no different than, driving around a railroad arm. You've got to be mindful of why that's happening. Additionally, harvest season. You get those farmers out there on the road. We're a farming community. That's where a lot of employment goes on in Christian County. We're an agricultural county. We just had the agricultural fair. Keep in mind, those people are out there. They're trying to do their job too as well, and we've got to give them some patience and understand the hazards that they go through.
Find out more about the Christian County Sheriff's Office by visiting them at their Facebook page. You can also download the CCSO IL app for your mobile device for real-time updates and information. Jim Baker appeared as a guest on the WTIM Morning Show. This will conclude the second portion of your expanded local news, brought to you by CNB Bank and Trust. The Christian County Health Department and Taylorville Fire Department are teaming up to offer free CPR training. The class will be held on Wednesday, September 3rd from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Taylorville Fire Department. Space is limited, and you'll need to register by calling 217-824-2295. Public Health Administrator Dr. Chad Anderson says knowing CPR can save lives at home and at work and within the community, and encourages residents to sign up early. Again, that's free CPR training on Wednesday, September 3rd from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Taylorville Fire Department. Call 217-824-2295 to register. An employee at Taylorville Memorial Hospital is being recognized for her dedication and creativity on the culinary side of the provider's operations. Erica Mazzini, a food service associate, has been named Taylorville Memorial Hospital's Colleague of the Month for July. Mazzini was nominated for going above and beyond for patients and staff. For Independence Day, she spearheaded an effort to serve red, white, and blue deviled eggs. She also takes the time to ensure food is prepared safely. Mazzini's nominator praised the care that she shows for patients, even as far as helping open tightly sealed containers. Mazzini has been with Taylorville Memorial Hospital now for 10 years. Illinois Congresswoman Mary Miller, supporting the Trump administration's position that the USDA will no longer use taxpayer dollars for solar panels on productive farmland, or allow solar panels manufactured by foreign adversaries to even be used in USDA projects. Miller serves on the House Ag Committee. Moving now to obituaries, which can be found at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com and are brought to you by Sutton Memorial Home. "82-year-old Shirley Louise Sullivan of Pana died on August 27th. Visitation is September 4th from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. at McCracken Dean Funeral Home in Pana. Funeral service will be September 4th at 10:30 a.m. at St. Patrick's Catholic Church in Pana. Interment will be at Calvary Cemetery. Funeral arrangements are being handled by McCracken Dean Funeral Home in Pana. 63-year-old Randall Lynn Brummett of Taylorville died on August 26th. Cremation rights have been accorded and no services will be provided. Funeral arrangements are being handled by McClure Funeral Home and Cremation Services in Taylorville. 58-year-old Randall or Randy Lee Pertilar of Peoria, formerly of Taylorville, died on August 21st. Memorial visitation is September 20th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at McClure Funeral Home in Taylorville. Memorial service will be September 20th at 11 a.m. at McClure Funeral Home in Taylorville. Interment will be at Glen Haven Memorial Gardens. Funeral arrangements are being handled by McClure Funeral Home in Taylorville. Get details on these and other local news stories at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com or on WTIM. WTIM is your only local news radio.